Hello everybody, it's Pressing Arsenal as Godzilla Hawk, and we are here with...
Asshole, Captain Asshole.
Yes, and today we are giving you guys...
And Tweaker McGee.
Okay.
I'm coming up with names for my other personalities, it's great.
Good to know. That's great. We need to find one...
You're going to get to know the entire set of the faces of Asshole.
Kind of like Faces of Fuller, except it's Brandon.
Technically, it's me and me hearty crew.
What the hell? Oh my God.
That's how he comes with Captain. Okay. Not Major, not Lieutenant, not Commander Colonel. Captain. Okay then. Where's your boat? Docked in port.
You need an eye patch or a parrot. That's all you need.
I have a parrot. I'm going to do eye patches.
Is Jose your parrot?
No.
Oh, I guess. Jeremiah.
I strangled that damn bird. Now he's just a dead stuffed pigeon. He's just like, right? That's not right. Well, that's still not right.
That's what she said.
Kill the bird.
But now, let's move on. Wrestler talk, we have not done one in a while. Originally, we were going to do Jake Roberts because that was the one most people voted for. But Bryan kind of wanted to, get some more information on that. So I was like, okay, well, you know what? We'll take some time off. Eventually we'll learn more about Jake Roberts. And then I checked on the results, and you guys decided to vote for Daniel Bryan. Now, we can actually do this one because we're very familiar with Daniel Bryan. In fact, he's one of our favorite wrestlers. So this is going to be a very fun video for both of us. And after this, we will draft the next 5 picks so you guys can vote down below for the next wrestler talk.
And this time, maybe we won't take a week or two at most.
It depends. I just like to build it up so that way we get all the votes in. Because like this time, because if we did Jake Roberts like now, then we would never have done Daniel Bryan this time. Heck, Edge got even more votes. He got like 12 or 20.
I think this time we should wait till... after WrestleMania, no, a month after WrestleMania.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Just to see what it swings as.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like from now on, I think what I'm trying to do is maybe every month we'll start doing a new one. That way, it's more consistent. No matter who it is, whether we know them or we not, or we like him or we hate him, we gotta do him. So
that's what she said.
Exactly.
That's what she said.
So, like I said, we'll be going back and forth here, but I like to start off how Daniel Bryan came up to be. Daniel Bryan started off in Ring of Honor, back when Ring of Honor was popular as an independent. That's where he started off as. That's where he was most popular. He was facing guys like CM Punk. He was facing guys like Samoa Joe, Austin Aries, guys like that at ROH, and he was one of those fan favorites. Even AJ Styles, he fought AJ Styles a few times at Ring of Honor, and he progressed as a professional wrestler. He pretty much tried to become the best at what he could be. He was very well known in the independent circuit. He was known as Bryan Danielson, which is his actual name, and he was just a phenomenal athlete and very underrated, but to the ROH world, he was very popular. Then he actually got introduced to NXT. Now, back at NXT, before it was phenomenal, it was just that show. It was almost like a game show where instead of if you wrestled, it doesn't matter. It wasn't just they had wrestling, but it was all like these competitions, like these races and dance-offs. It was stupid. Like, I remember everybody just was like, NXT, oh, that shit show. Now it's like, NXT, I'm going to watch that instead of Raw. So it was very interesting how NXT has progressed. But anyways, Daniel Bryan was the first one eliminated from NXT because he was losing matches, he was losing challenges. And keep in mind, The Miz was his pro. Yes, when every new rookie star on NXT gets a pro. Like, for example, Heath Slater's pro in NXT was Christian. There's a few others that had women pros for them. It was very interesting. I kind of liked that concept, but overall NXT was just dumb. And Daniel Bryan was out of the competition. Then, months later, the new Nexus storyline came in, which everybody remembers, where it was literally NXT stars evading Raw. I remember clearly, the first time I believe they came out, they destroyed Cena, they attacked Justin Roberts, they completely destroyed the ring. They just demolished everything in their path, and Daniel Bryan ended up getting fired. He was part of the Nexus, and he got fired. The reason when he was actually legit fired was because he grabbed Justin Roberts' tie and he strangled him, choked him, and WWE thought that was way too much and they fired him. And everybody since then was pissed off because they think that was unfair. Months and months went by with no Daniel Bryan. It was more focused on Wade Barrett and the new Nexus. They had that little storyline going on. Then at SummerSlam 2010, it was the Team Cena versus Team Nexus storyline where Cena was assembling his team. I don't know if you remember that. But he was assembling his team. He was getting like Edge, Bret Hart, Chris Jericho, R-Truth, John Morrison. And during that time, Khali got injured. He was part of one of the members, and he was attacked. Mainly because he sucked, so they didn't want, that match to blow.
Sure.
So they got rid of him because of that, and I remember clearly before the match started, at SummerSlam, John Cena announced, we got ourselves a 7th member. Miz comes out, and keep in mind, Miz was the United States Champion and Mr. Money in the Bank at the time. He was coming out because he was thinking, oh yeah, I'm the next big thing, I'm coming out right now, and Cena was like, whoa, 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 you're not the 7th guy. We found the 7th guy, and it's not you. Instead, it was his rookie, Daniel Bryan, comes out. I remember, everybody goes nuts. As soon as Daniel Bryan gets in the ring, he cleans house. He does the famous label lock. He does a lot of headbutts. He's doing a lot of mat-based wrestling, a lot of technical moves, but he's just getting rid of the Nexus. It was great. And then this would lead out toward, this was, I think, the big moment for Daniel Bryan, too, where at the next month pay-per-view, he ended up facing The Miz for the U.S. title. And that match, in my mind, is very underrated. It was actually a good match. It was pretty much the teacher versus the student. The storyline going was The Miz always trash-talking Daniel Bryan. Michael Cole talking down Daniel Bryan, saying, you're a nerd. You're just a rookie. You've never won a challenge at NXT. Look at me. I'm a main eventer. I'm future WWE champion. I'm the United States champion. You're just a joke. You can't win a match. You don't have a personality. You don't have charisma. And that's when they had their match, and Daniel Bryan ended up making The Miz submit. And he won his very first title, which was the United States Championship. And ever since that day, Daniel Bryan has progressed. He had actually a decent run with the United States Championship. He ended up actually getting girlfriends like the Bella Twins and Gail Kim, because the storyline was he never had a girlfriend. He was getting a lot of fame. He got new attire. He was being known as the American Dragon. He was having actually a decent mid-card feud with Ted DiBiase, which were actually not bad matches. He actually had a really good match with the Intercontinental Champion at that time, Dolph Ziggler, at Bragging Rights in 2010. They had a really good match. Champion versus champion, good match. Check it out. He was progressing. He eventually lost the U.S. Championship to Sheamus, which made Sheamus, to a bigger star as the World Heavyweight Champion later on. Daniel Bryan, then after losing the United States Championship, he was really considered that underdog. So then finally, when he main event, he was in his very first Money in the Bank ladder match in 2011 for SmackDown briefcase, because remember SmackDown and Raw had the 2 separate world title ones, which was good. Daniel Bryan ended up winning Money in the Bank, and everybody, I remember clearly, everybody went nuts. They were happy, they were excited, they were like, I can't wait for this. Daniel Bryan's going to be a world heavyweight champion now. Vince did something right. He didn't just focus on a big guy, he focused on someone that actually mattered. And I remember clearly, it was kind of like the Mr. Kennedy thing where he won Money in the Bank, where Daniel Bryan announced on SmackDown saying, I'm going to cash this in at Money in the Bank. And that was the original plan. I thought that would have been great. Maybe have like Daniel Bryan, Wade Barrett feud or something. Having somebody cash in fairly at Mania win it would have been something special for Bryan. But however, during his course, Daniel Bryan holding Money in the Bank briefcase was losing a lot. He was kind of losing a lot in a way. Then at TLC 2011, the pay-per-view, which is the second pay-per-view I've ever watched, ever. Daniel Bryan ends up cashing his briefcase on the Big Show after he won the world title off Mark Henry. Daniel Bryan finally wins the world title. Everyone goes nuts. Then that's when Daniel Bryan has heel turn. He was that annoyed heel, kind of like Christian or like Chris Jericho, where he would always, no matter what, he didn't really play dirty. He was more like an opportunist. Like he would get the title back in some way, whether it was escaping from a cage or getting out of the lumberjack match or whatever the case may be. He would always somehow win the world title. Even inside the chamber, he won it. He was going on a great pace. He was actually not a bad heel. I just preferred him as a babyface. I think we both agree on that. He was a better babyface. Then that's when Daniel Bryan had AJ Lee as his girlfriend and manager, and they were becoming a thing. Then at WrestleMania 28, that's when we got Sheamus, who won the Royal Rumble back in 2012 versus Daniel Bryan for the World title at WrestleMania 28. Now, this was a... I don't know how to say this. I'm going to stand by this, and I don't care what anybody says. I remember watching that match. Daniel Bryan versus Sheamus, I was like, this is going to be a great match. These guys work really well together. I know they can have a good match. I know Sheamus is going to win. But you know what? I'm just expecting a good old match. That's all I wanted, was just a good match. I didn't care if Sheamus won, as long as they had an overall good wrestling product match. I remember Jose invited me to one for his friend's house. I was there. I was getting ready. I was pumped up. Daniel Bryan kisses AJ Lee. And then as soon as he turns around, bro kick. And then 1, 2, 3. I remember everyone else clearly. Jose and everyone else was cheering happy. And then I'm like, what the fuck just happened? What just happened? The fans were shocked. Some of them were happy. Most of them were actually very pissed off. Because it wasn't the fact that Sheamus won. It was the fact that Sheamus won in 18 seconds and they considered burying Daniel Bryan.
And not only that, but being WrestleMania, we expected a big match, something.
And it was the opener. Keep in mind, this was the world title opener for WrestleMania, which was kind of dumb.
If they had kept it to where the fastest match was Kane's ECW World Championship grab from
Chavo Guerrero
at
WrestleMania 24.
At WrestleMania, it'd have been great. I mean, think about it. Technically, he won with a chokeslam right off the back.
Yeah, but at least...
But it still took him a little bit of time to do it because he grabbed him and was like... And it was over.
And not only that, Chavo Guerrero tried to lunge him first, and then Kane grabbed and did the choke slam.
Yeah.
With Daniel Bryan, it was, hang on, I'm going to kiss my girl, okay, now I'm ready to fight, and then bam, and then 1, 2, 3, we're just like, what a big letdown, we were expecting a match. No, like I said, I knew Sheamus was going to win. I knew for a fact Sheamus was winning that match.
But the way he won it, that type of win should have happened more like the pay-per-view before WrestleMania, and then had a big old fallout rematch at WrestleMania. Yeah. Not have the grandest stage of them all become a joke.
Yeah.
But hey, you know what? I guess they were trying to get Sheamus a big push. Yeah. But no matter how you look at it, if you're going to give someone that type of big push, they got to bury someone. At the time, Daniel Bryan was holding the title. That's just the way it goes.
Yeah. But
not appreciated at WrestleMania, but understood.
And another reason I want to say this is, keep in mind, this was at WrestleMania 28. I get why they had to cut the match short. Because, think about it, you had Triple H and Undertaker ended the era match, which was a half-hour long. You had The Rock versus John Cena 1. You had Chris Jericho and CM Punk for the title. I mean, you had 3 big matches to look forward to. You know they had to be a good length. And there were so many other matches on the card, like, they couldn't just make it, like, 15 minutes. So, I get it was understandable, but it was one of those matches that fans were actually looking forward to, and it was a letdown. But then we had to move on to the next part, which was Extreme Rules, and Daniel Bryan ended up actually having a legit match with Sheamus for the world title. It was a 2 out of 3 falls. Again, I wanted Bryan to win, but I knew Sheamus was going to win. But they had a great match, and that's all that mattered. I loved that match. I remember clearly the fans were pro Bryan, and everybody fucking booed Sheamus. And I'm going to say this right now, it was not Sheamus' fault. It was WWE's fault because they're the ones that said, Sheamus, you're going to bury Bryan in 18 seconds. That's the bottom line. And you knew right there, like, Daniel Bryan was a fan favorite. I mean, I remember clearly, WrestleMania, there were yes chants, or chanting, yes, yes. And that's what Daniel Bryan was starting, the yes chant. Then when he lost the world title, he started saying no and no. After his little feud with Sheamus, he moved on to WWE Championship, and he actually had a great match, actually great matches, and a great feud with one of his all-time friends and greatest rivals from ROH, CM Punk. These guys knew each other so well. I remember clearly they had such a great technical match at Over Limit. They had a triple threat match with Kane involved, which was good, and then they had a no disqualification match at Money in the Bank 2013, which was awesome. But again, Bryan lost. But we saw good matches in the process. So it wasn't like, oh, this is freaking stupid. Bryan got better. It's like, no, you made Bryan actually dominate in that entire feud, except he lost. That's the only downside. Then, this is when more of the comedy acts started. This is why people might consider like Daniel Bryan like the Chris Benoit, because not only did he have similar movesets, but he had similar, segments and feuds. For example, I know you remember this one, where he had the anger management class and he was with Kane, and they were not getting along, and we had the Dr. Shelby segments where he was trying to control their segments, and I thought they were hilarious as hell. They were funny, and you're making both guys relevant. You had Daniel Bryan, doing the no thing. Like, I don't want to be part of Kane. Kane's like, I don't want to be part of Bryan. Then they slowly progressed, and they actually formed a tag team. And I remember that tag team was like Kurt Angle, Chris Benoit. How as a tag team they were very good, but they couldn't get along. But no matter what, they won matches, matching more matches, and they end up winning the tag titles a couple months later against Kofi Kingston and R-Truth. And then I remember clearly, I'm the tag team champions. No, I'm the tag team champions. And they went on and off, even though they were considered allies and tag team partners.
It was retarded. We loved it. We ate it with a bowl of fruit.
Yes, it was hilarious. It was one of the funniest things we've seen in a long time. And that's saying a lot, because we've seen the PG era of WWE, and we've seen a lot of stupid crap, like the Vicky Guerrero and Edge marriage thing. That was dumb, but this was one of the few times where it was actually hilarious. Then after a while, they had their little thing together, and then they lost the tag titles at Extreme Rules to the new upcoming team, The Shield. And that's where The Shield kind of progressed and became their new group and starting to get noticed. Then, Daniel Bryan and Kane kind of separated, gone their own ways.
Barely.
Yeah. Then finally, it was Daniel Bryan's big moment. SummerSlam 2013. Brad Maddox, the general manager at the time, asked the current champion John Cena, "You will defend the championship against an opponent of your choosing." And John Cena's reaction was, "I select Daniel Bryan." And you see Daniel Bryan come out. He has the full beard. He's got the long hair, and he's like, the fans went nuts. We thought this is going to be it. This is going to be Daniel Bryan's big moment. Having the biggest match of his career being with the face of the company in the main event at SummerSlam, one of the biggest pay-per-views in pro wrestling history. I remember the feud, again, kind of similar to like the Miz thing. You don't have, I remember Vince McMahon, you don't have the look of a champion. You're a troll. You got that disgusting beard that I don't see you as a WWE champion. Stuff like that. Or trying to get him to become more corporate and trying to shave the beard off. Daniel Bryan, of course, refusing, not listening to the critics. Triple H is the referee in that match. Now we go to that match. The match was amazing. 5-star classic, amazing. Probably one of the best Bryan matches ever. Both Cena and Bryan tore it up. And Daniel Bryan actually used the high running, which was his new finisher. Beat Cena cleanly. Wins the WWE Championship. I remember clearly because I got live reactions for it. I was happy. I was like, he finally won the WWE Championship. This was a great moment. There's cafe going everywhere.
And then I called it.
Then everybody predicted.
I called it.
Orton came out with the Money in the Bank briefcase.
What I didn't call was Triple H actually, or freaking Peregrine. I did not predict that, because the first thing I thought was he was going to get out, he was going to RKO him and then pin him. No.
Yeah.
Triple H got him.
This is when Triple H became heel after so many years.
Triple H has been heel since day one.
He was...
Has Triple H ever technically been a good guy?
He has.
Without due technicality, he's just done his own thing.
No, he's been a babyface. Remember his deal with Shawn Michaels. He's
either the heel you don't like or the heel rebel that you're like, oh, this is kind of cool.
No, he's been babyface, but he's well known more as a heel, like kind of like Edge. But anyways,
technically Edge was always a bad guy, but when he came back, you're like, ah. Yeah.
Well, I mean, he was a babyface, but he was more well known as a heel. That's the thing. This is when Triple H returns as a heel, and you have the Randy Orton thing as new face of WWE. This was Orton was a heel, and we're like, thank God Orton's heel. He's been so bland when he's as a face.
But he didn't just come back as a heel. He came back as a heel / subordinate, which sucks.
Well,
we like him not only as a heel, but as a self-promoting heel. He needs to be by himself. He does a lot better.
Well, and prime example, Legend Killer. Best,
oh yeah. Oh
boy, best gimmick ever.
I mean, if he brought back just the punt kick, which my predictions, like I said, I believe that he's going to bring the punt kick back.
I was actually reading online. That's actually considered a banned move in WWE now.
Oh, too many concussions from it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually considered a banned move. But anyways, back to Bryan. Then that's when Daniel Bryan and Randy Orton were having their little feud, and they were having great matches. Street fights, title matches, Hell in a Cell matches. It went on. And Daniel Bryan was and I remember Daniel Bryan was, and I'll stand by this. When it came to him, he was literally the stone cold of that, for that minimum time back in 2013 and 14. How the crowd was pro Bryan. And if you think about it, the corporation was kind of, or the authority was kind of like the past corporation. Remember how the corporation was always together? You had The Rock, the one guy everybody knew, and then you had Stone Cold the Rebel that would attack and do whatever it took to get the championship back and take down the corporation. It was literally that kind of storyline where Daniel Bryan was the underdog. He was the rebel.
Well, he was the underdog, not the rebel. Because trust me, there's nobody who plays, nobody plays like that.
Yeah, but you get what I'm trying to say, like, and not only that,
he's basically the anti to their thinger. Yeah, we know.
Yeah, and like I said, they were chanting yes, which was the equivalent of like the what with Stone Cold back in the day. Daniel Bryan was red hot. Then we have Batista returning. He won the Royal Rumble and he went to main event Randy Orton. I remember this clearly. Daniel Bryan actually made this. The original plans was that Batista versus Orton one-on-one for the title, and even Mitch has said this, and every wrestling fan said that if they were to do this, the fans would not watch the match. They would probably run out of WrestleMania and want their money back. And WWE didn't want to take that risk. So they ended up finally doing Daniel Bryan Triple H at Mania to start the opener. We remember that. We did live reactions to it. It was a good match, and it made Daniel Bryan look good by having beat one of the best wrestlers. First, you had beat him like Orton. You beat Sheamus. You had him beat all these guys. And finally, you beat Triple H. And then you finally have him move to a main event of that night for a triple threat match against Batista and Randy Orton for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. One of the best triple threat matches, but I still think the best triple threat matches was WrestleMania 20, Chris Benoit, Triple H, and Shawn Michaels by far. That would be considered the best triple threat match in most people's eyes, for obvious reasons. But it was still a great match. Then you finally have Daniel Bryan get him into the labella, Batista in the labella lock. Batista's trying to hang on, he taps, the fans go nuts, everybody's happy.
Except that one black guy. Because he's still hurting in the eyeball sockets.
From Triple H, from the Undertaker thing.
Yeah, he's sitting there going, why did I look that hard?
Then you had Daniel Bryan finally win the championship, and
he looked like Jose's pug.
Yes, that movie came out not too long ago, so I'm excited. But anyways, back to the
away.
Yeah. Now, he finally held the WWE World title. He had a feud with Kane. We thought he was going to hold the title for very long. It's finally happening. He's going to get a good run with it. He deserved this after everything he's been through. Then what happens? He gets a neck injury, and unfortunately had to vacate the title. And it was kind of weird because he was actually getting, before all this bad stuff was happening, he was actually getting good luck. He married Brie Bella. He was a champion. He was very over. Everything started good. But then he got injured by a neck injury. He had to vacate the title. His father passed away. All this bad stuff was happening. He was gone for 8 months. And I remember Brandon clearly saying this, that I don't think he's going to return. I think Daniel Bryan's done with the company. Yeah, after this, I don't think he's coming back. I remember
I said I'd be surprised because usually you don't come back from a neck injury that takes you out for that long. You don't really risk coming back. Doctors will tell you no matter what. You have a neck injury, you re-injure it, it's probably not going to be able to be fixed again.
Kind of like Edge. That's how he retired.
Was it a neck injury? I thought it was his ankle injury.
No, it was his neck because it was a fusion in his neck. It was supposed to be a ladder match and that hurt. Yeah. But anyways, that's another video. So he was gone for 8 months. We were wondering, is Daniel Bryan going to return? And then one night on Raw, he comes out to Raw before the Royal Rumble and he makes an announcement telling everybody, Am I done? Is my career dead? No. In fact, I'm going to compete in the Royal Rumble. And I remember, again, we did live reactions. Daniel Bryan was in a Rumble. He was red hot.
And of course, he got knocked
out. Yeah, he got eliminated pretty early, and of course, Roman Reigns not winning that match.
Yeah, for the first time ever in any Rumble, the Big Show cleaned house badly. He's also, if he's in it, he'd be my top pick for winning the Andre the Giant Memorial.
Again, match. Another time though.
I do have a top pick on that one.
Yeah, another time.
At that Royal Rumble match, he
got eliminated very quick.
I mean, almost every fan favorite, even the fan hatred ones that are expected,
like Roman Reigns.
I'm talking about ones that were all just suddenly eliminated by the Big Show. He just literally cleaned house.
Ryback, Bray Wyatt, Dolph Ziggler.
Bray Wyatt was kicking ass.
Yeah, he was. He was a fan favorite.
He got Daniel Bryan. I mean, they got everyone. And I was sitting there going,
Dean Ambrose. Don't forget Dean Ambrose too. He was a fan favorite.
Yeah, Dean Ambrose. Like that. I was like,
dude. But yeah. Then we move on to actually recently to the Fastlane pay-per-view. This is when Daniel Bryan beat Seth Rollins on Raw to face Roman Reigns, the winner of the Royal Rumble this year, to have the #1 contendership for the title to face Brock Lesnar. And of course, Daniel Bryan lost. It was still a good match, but he hated the ending. And I have to point this out. I gotta apologize. I'll be a man. I'll apologize. They actually did say Roman Reigns was the first man to kick out of the running knee. So I admit I was wrong. You were right. So I gotta apologize for that.
Well, that's one of the few things I've been watching for is to see who would kick out of it. I was wondering who would be it because you gotta think everybody's had a WrestleMania moment where every finisher they've kicked out of. RKO, I think the RKO is the only one I haven't seen someone kick out of.
A lot of people, like Cena's kicked out, Sheamus have kicked out. A lot. I've seen Daniel Bryan kicked out.
It's pay-per-views I haven't seen. Pay-per-views I haven't seen.
And Raws too. There's been some Raws too where people have kicked out.
I'll have to review that.
Yeah, a lot of people have kicked out.
Well, I'm just saying I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
But I've seen everybody's finisher. Thanks to the Undertaker, we've even seen the F5 kicked out of twice.
Tombstone kicked out a few times in the past.
Oh, all the time. How many tombstones did it take to put Shawn Michaels down?
Well, yeah, 2.
Yeah. Triple H, same thing.
Yeah, 2.
Actually, didn't it take 3 for Triple H?
No, it took 2.
Dozens of choke slams. It was like, oh, God.
Yeah. But anyways, back to the main topic. Now, Daniel Bryan is rumored to be part of the IC title match and a ladder match. Since that he's not part of the WWE World title match, he's going after a title that he's never won before. And that's for the Intercontinental, which, in my mind, I think is smart because Daniel Bryan is one of those main draws for WrestleMania. And you can't just leave out Daniel Bryan. But it's like, what can we do with him? But it's like, wait a minute. We got the IC title. We got to make it relevant because we're already making the US title relevant. Well, we got to do something at IC title.
This is a surprise for me because honestly, I would have thought they'd have done something a little differently. I would have thought that instead of including Daniel Bryan in this match, that they would have had him go against Rusev and beat Rusev. Considering supposedly Rusev is declining John Cena's match, but
I'm sure
they're going to push it or something.
No, they're going to have a match.
It'd just be kind of interesting if they just pushed him into that position
I would prefer Bryan, but they got to put legitimacy back in the U.S. title, and John Cena is the guy.
John Cena represented because he represents the armed forces, sure, and Daniel Bryan because he pretty much represents the entire WWE fan base.
Well, he's also known as the American Dragon. There's a reason why
he might as well hold the U.S. title. The Intercontinental Championship has a lot of people going at it. I would have preferred to keep Daniel Bryan out of it, or even Dolph Ziggler, because I definitely approve of R-Truth, because R-Truth needs a push at this point. At this point, even though he's kind of, he just needs a little bit of a push because his character is starting to fade from memory, and soon he's going to go the way of Santino and all the others. Go ahead.
I'm sorry to be rude, but like I said, I want to focus more on Daniel Bryan.
I'm doing that. Yeah, I'm just bringing up the match. Yeah, I don't think he should be in there.
Okay, well, we'll continue because I know we've had comments about that.
Okay. I understand Dean Ambrose. I understand because Wade Barrett, and I understand Ziggler. I just don't understand why they interjected Daniel Bryan.
Well, he's most likely to be in it. But
they should have just put in, instead of having him have Miz Dow and Miz go into it.
Well, you know they're going to have a match at the end or doing some sort of feud one-on-one.
If they push it into it.
But they're not going to put them because it would just be clustered. Like, you know these guys are meant to be one-on-one, not in a ladder match.
They have about 4 weeks of filming left. Right, they have like 8 shows to push their
promos. And you know, I guarantee you they're going to snap and have a match at me or something. Well, like I said, I can understand your point because Dan Bryan's one of those big stars, and it would almost be like putting Orton in IC title. It would just be kind of weird. But like I said, Dan Bryan is one of the biggest draws in a long time for WWE. He's one of the biggest stars. I get they don't want to do Sheamus and Dan Bryan. Nobody really wants to see that again at Mania. I get it would be a good match, but I understand why people don't want to see it. Dolph Ziggler or Daniel Bryan, it would be an amazing match, but I don't know how that would work. Like I said, I'm glad they're putting Bryan in. If they do put Bryan in this match, it is going to bring legitimacy into IC title because you have someone that's never won the IC championship. He's pretty much won every championship in the company except for the IC title. And the fact that he's one of those big draws in a match, in a ladder match for IC title, it's going to be like Cena Rusev. You're bringing prestige into the mid-card title instead of being like, remember how sometimes we were like, oh, U.S. title match or Intercontinental, where's the world title match? Now we're like, we're invested in the U.S. title. We're curious in the Intercontinental Championship. We're actually getting into these matches, and having Daniel Bryan in a ladder match in the IC title picture most likely is going to help raise that prestige. Will he win the IC title? I don't know. We gotta first figure out if he's 100% in this match. You don't know. Maybe he could, or maybe he'll face Ziggler, or he'll face Sheamus. I mean, we don't know what we're gonna expect. But I'm just saying, if Daniel Bryan is in this match, he is going to bring prestige into the title for the IC title. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. And it's not like he's going to jobber status. It's like, no, he's going after the second most important title, the Intercontinental, and he's being part of a ladder match at Mania, which is going to be huge for him. In fact, I don't think they've ever done a multiple-man Intercontinental title match, ladder match, let alone at Mania. So it's something fresh for WrestleMania and for the title itself. It's almost going to feel like a Money in the Bank ladder match, in my opinion. And that's what I was actually talking to Mitch about. But that's another video. We kind of pretty much discussed the whole Bryan storyline. I'm going to let Bryan talk. Just a recap of what I talked about and name the things that you liked about Bryan, like why did you become a Daniel Bryan fan, and then we'll talk our reasons what we liked about him, and then we'll talk about the negatives. So you can go ahead and talk for a little bit.
Well, I've always liked Daniel Bryan because he's a very technical wrestler, but I love submission. I've always been about submission. Very big submission fan. I wish they'd go back to using him as a submission specialist versus just knowing the one labella lock. I mean, he had, if someone who knows over 100 submissions, he'd only use one.
Well, he uses a few more, but
rarely.
Yeah.
Rare. And that's what I loved about him, was he would slip out of one and put a whole new one on you, and that was cool. It was something completely new that WWE had brought to the table. Unfortunately, they dropped the gimmick. I also don't like the fact that they have made him a little smaller than usual. It's like he's not working out very much. They should probably start working on getting him a little more fit. Other than that, I mean, I haven't had much issue. I wish he doesn't have to shave the beard, but I wish he would trim it a little bit.
Yeah, like back in like 2011 and 12, when he had kind of the shorter beard.
We don't have to call him patchy, and I definitely don't want to see him braided again.
I think that might be the only complaint I have with Daniel Bryan currently is he just. I just want.
You have to comb your face off. Yeah, you comb your face back so that you can eat every time.
I just want him to trim the beard and cut his hair and go back to like 2011, 12 when he had the kind of.
I mean, everybody's got the right to have their own share, their own.
I get that, face, but that's just a little nitpick I have with Daniel Bryan. But also, I can't really have anything bad to say about Bryan because besides that, I have nothing to complain. I mean, his matches have been 95% amazing. He actually cuts decent mic sales. He's got decent wrestling. He's got memorable moves. He's got a memorable theme song. Like, everything about him is memorable. It's not going to be like that guy who's like, oh, yeah, I remember. I think what was his name? He's going to be like, I remember him. He was the Stone Cold of that era for a while. He won He won at WrestleMania for the title. He beat 3 world champions, 3 members of Evolution and won 9. He beat John Cena. He was in a ladder match at WrestleMania. I remember this guy. He's going to be like a Cena or Orton. Like, you're not going to forget the name Daniel Bryan.
He's a future Hall of Famer no matter how they like it. However, like I said, I don't have too many problems with it. I do not care for the Yes Movement. It's a little too big for what they're trying to do. I think it's getting way too much hype. It's really downplaying every other wrestler, making them look like they're not as good as they are. I like to give him credit, but it's killing everybody else's persona.
And you know what? When come to think of it,
when you look at John Cena, every time John Cena comes down, if they're not cheering and boom, you're hearing people going yes or no, and it's like, really? Daniel Bryan ain't even out on stage or nothing, and they're already using his chants.
That's how popular and how good he was, because he was actually as an underdog. I mean, I get that.
Which is cool. I understand using that when he's out in the area or when they're talking about him. But if the segment has nothing to do with them, don't do that.
But remember, keep in mind, this started at WrestleMania 20, and even after that 18-second match, what happened during the last couple matches? You heard, yes, yes, or Daniel Bryan. Why do you think that? Because he got screwed. He was a great wrestler.
And everybody feels for him, yes. But that was then. I'm talking about right now. It's been how many months? Almost a year? Maybe 2 years? It's been a while. People need to be a little more conscious about what they're doing. You can be a Daniel Bryan fan and cheer your brains out when he's there. Don't disrespect the other wrestlers who deserve to be recognized.
And I get that.
Because he got recognized since the moment he came in. And he's been recognized and cheered for since then. And the other guys who have done the same thing, have only been here a little bit longer than them, are starting to be ignored, are starting to be mistreated, looked at as being over-pushed. And it's like, they're not over-pushed. They've put more time into it. There's a difference. It's not fair to take someone who's fresh off the books and just keep pushing him constantly, and then start downplaying everybody else. It's not fair to have the same guy like John doing. I understand John Cena always goes up and rises to the occasion. We got the Super Cena, gets all this stuff, but he's also had matches against legendaries. If you want to keep pushing Daniel Bryan, put him in a match against legendaries. His match with Triple H was awesome. It had nothing to do with titles. It was great. Okay? But everybody wants him to have matches, title matches. Well, yeah, I understand. At the same time, he doesn't need to be interjected every time. Just like John Cena doesn't need to be interjected every time.
Exactly.
But they'll never get the other guys their chances at that title if everybody's hung up on the one guy. And that's what's happening. And that's what I don't like about what's going on with Daniel Bryan, is that it's not his wrestling, it's that the Yes Movement has become so powerful and so completely blinded that they don't care about anybody else. They want it their way. They want him to have the championship. Except the problem is that he's held the championship. He's had opportunities, and other people deserve to be pushed too. And it's not fair to foreshadow them like that.
And you know what? That's actually a good point. I get where you're coming from. Like I said,
I want one more thing. While we're there, and now it just popped in my head. I understand that he had to crawl out of John Cena's shadow to make it happen. I do understand that. Before anybody else goes blah, 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 about it, I understand that. I understand that he's had multiple opportunities. He's held the titles individually. He's held them both together. But he's had more opportunities than most anybody else in the WWE besides for John Cena. That's why people like R-Truth and other people, other wrestlers have not gotten their pushes, because they focused on him, they focused on Cena, they focused on Ryback, they focused on CM Punk. They gave one person, and it's like, and nothing's happening.
Well, and like I said, I know I'm kind of going off topic, but like Punk said in his promo years ago, it was it doesn't matter if you're the best talker, it doesn't matter if you're the best wrestler, it doesn't matter if you're the best performer. There is that glass ceiling you cannot break. And remember, he was mentioning guys like John Cena and Randy Orton always getting the credit, but guys that worked their butts off like R-Truth, Bros Clay, and Tyson Kidd, it's like, how come they don't get pushed? How come they don't get an opportunity at the main event? How come they're not putting more matches?
Because
look at Zack Ryder.
They don't have the capabilities to not only develop their mic skills and develop them as a wrestler and give them a little more technical ability, I stopped caring about it. I mean, Zack Ryder nothing happened to Zack Ryder after he lost, what was it, it's a U.S. title, right? That he had?
Yeah, ever since that day, he got that jobber.
That title, he just dropped completely.
He became a jobber again. He became a jobber.
It was worse than that. You didn't see him wrestle anymore. He just dropped off the map. Nobody knew what happened.
He barely wrestled. If he did come, he was making a job to a new guy.
It was the exact same thing that happened to Charlie Haas. Like, the tag team got split up from, he had a small injury?
I don't remember.
And then he dropped off the map, and you saw Shelton Benjamin. Always Shelton Benjamin. Every ladder match, every Royal Rumble, you saw him, and you're like, "Where's Haas?" Yeah, the Haas, the one that won the matches with his submission all the time. Where was the other guy that was really impressive? And I'm not saying that Shelton Benjamin's not impressive because that was entertaining up to the point it became a mama's boy. That was fucking retarded. But this is what's happening to a lot of wrestlers, is that they're dropping off the map and their attention is given to one person. And it's not fair to the ones who have been working and doing the same thing that Bryan has done and Cena has done. They're rising to the occasion. The problem is they don't know what to do with them. And they could do something great, but they don't want to.
No, can I speak?
I'm waiting. Yeah.
Okay.
This is a debate.
Yeah, I know. Like I said...
stick it in.
No, I know. That's what she said. But like I said, I get what you're saying, and you know what that is. I'll agree under some points. I remember, and I'll stand by this. And even though this is hard for me to say, he did kind of the Yes Movement did kind of bury some talent. Like, I'm not saying like there's some guys like he buried Orton, and Cena's like whatever, that's fine because they're all.
He did bury Orton, and he did bury Batista's return. He buried both of them with the Yes Movement so badly.
Well,
nobody even gave Batista a chance to come back. Granted, his exit on the last one, the way he turned heel completely against the entire crowd. I mean,
well, that was because he won the Royal Rumble. Nobody wanted him to win. They wanted Bryan to win back his title. And when Batista returns, like,
yeah,
fuck this.
But if Batista had started at like number 5 and won it, it had changed everything.
No, people would have still been pissed. People would have still been pissed because it was Batista.
So you still see how it buries him, though, because Batista, yes, I know, he came back and they gave him an entry. They gave him a way to the title. I got that. But they buried him the second he came back.
Well, when he first came out, it was cool, but then when you say he was announced as the Royal Rumble winner, they were just wondering, as long as Daniel Bryan's in the Rumble, as long as Daniel Bryan's in the Rumble and wins it, that's fine. And
who was the first person he attacked when he came back? Wasn't it Randy Orton?
I don't even remember, because I didn't give a crap. I was more focused on once Bryan gained the title.
So I'm just saying that I understand that they were totally upset because they wanted to see Daniel Bryan win the Royal Rumble. I understand that. I understand. Because at that point, Bryan's career had finally just reached that Chesapeake, and he had only one step left to climb up.
And it wasn't like he was
championship.
He was like sidelined. I mean, he had a great match against Bray Wyatt at that event. That was the match of the night, and we got on Royal. And like I said, Bryan has, like I said, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, but like we said, and I know you'll agree with me. Yeah. Yes, Bryan's, Yes Movement was awesome, but at times it does kind of overshadow some of the other talent. I get that. Does that mean Daniel Bryan's a terrible wrestler? No. Does that mean we hate Daniel Bryan? No. We like Daniel Bryan, but at the same time, I mean, and I have that.
Yeah, I mean,
well, you gotta let me finish.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I mean, think about it. I get it. He came from NXT. He's one of those guys who became a big star. I get that. But speaking of NXT, look at the guys who are going to be coming here. Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Finn Balor, Adrian Neville. Eventually, those guys are going to have to be looked over, and they're going to have to be getting pushed sooner or later. So we know Daniel Bryan can't be always the focus, or Cena can't always be a focus. You got to focus on the future. That's why they're doing Roman Reigns. That's why they're doing Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, and Bray Wyatt, and Rusev. They know they got to focus on the future. They can't just stick with the past. Because we know Cena can't be there forever. Yeah. We know Orton can't be there forever. We know Daniel Bryan's not going to be in WWE forever. Eventually he's going to retire. So what happens when Daniel Bryan retires? You got to find that new guy. And same thing with Roman Reigns. What happens if he's gone? You have to look towards the future. And I get that. Once the new talent starts coming, like, I know Sami Zayn's going to be extremely popular. He's already is in NXT. Kevin Owens is already popular. Finn Balor, Vince McMahon already loves him. I know that for a fact. He wants to make this guy a world champion. Everybody is always 100% behind him. So that's what I'm saying. Again, I just want to clear this out. Daniel Bryan, will always love him. He'll always be one of my favorite wrestlers. Like I said, these are nitpicks. These are issues, but this doesn't mean we hate Bryan. This is just a minor pet peeve we have. Actually, a kind of a big pet peeve we have with Bryan is the whole Yes movie. If it wasn't as overshadowed and it wasn't used all the time, they showed
similar respect. They showed the same cheers for the guys. It didn't have to be as hardcore. All right, you could be like, yeah, it'd been fine. But the fact that they just completely don't care about any other wrestler at this point, it's so one-sided that I wouldn't be surprised if they actually fired Daniel Bryan for it, just because it's too much. At that point, you're discrediting every wrestler because you guys want one guy.
And
give credit to other wrestlers too.
Well, they do. It's not like Daniel Bryan's just for. If you notice, the crowds have kind of been slowly dying a little bit. I mean, look at Roman Reigns. Whether you love him or hate him, he gets pops. Whether they're boos or cheers.
I just have one more thing to say about that WrestleMania, about that Royal Rumble though last year. The biggest thing that I noticed was, no matter what number Batista got when he returned, the crowd would not have given him a chance. Which is what I wanted to say. If we had changed the instance where he was one of the first 5 out, and he had worked really hard, and you saw him sweat, and he got cracked open and was bleeding, and he still won the Royal Rumble, you still would not have given him a chance. Would not have been happy about it. And that's the the bullshit portion of it. And it's they didn't give anybody a chance because if Daniel Bryan didn't win it, it wasn't worth it. Nothing was good enough for him, and it wasn't right. I mean, I understand his first match back, and it was predictable and all that stuff. But if they had given him more of a storyline where he could actually, or just a match where he actually had to work at the win, and if he really got busted open or hurt from the match, and you guys still wouldn't have cared, you still would have been upset. And that's my point: is that you're you're so fixed on Bryan that you're foreshadowing everyone, including the heels, the predictable heels, or the awesome guys that are coming in. It would be if the next year's Royal Rumble, and we were all like, "Ooh, Daniel Bryan's is in the Royal Rumble, and he's going to get. We're hoping he gets. He wins, so we can get another World Championship shot." And freaking, we'll say Adrian Neville. Adrian Neville makes his debut in the Royal Rumble, and he wins it. And the crowd would be so they'd be so done with Adrian Neville that they'd do nothing. They wouldn't boo him. They wouldn't cheer him. They'd be too upset about the fact that Daniel Bryan lost, and they'd be like, Adrian Neville, new guy, and you guys wouldn't care. And that's my problem with it.
And I get that, but like I said, eventually Daniel Bryan, like I said, he'll always be popular. It's not going to change. But what we're asking as fans is, don't have him be like the next John Cena or Roman Reigns currently, where he's overshadowing everybody. Give Dean Ambrose a chance. Give Sandow a chance. Give Cody Rhodes a chance. Yeah. Give these upcoming guys in NXT. Get the Ascension a chance. Give Tyson Kidd Cesaro a chance. You have so much talent. It's not like everybody's a jobber. Some of these guys could be mid-carders or best, or even future world champions. I mean, look at Seth Rollins. Even though he's a heel, he's still over with the crowd.
And I get that there's not enough. There's really not enough time in the world to make every guy in the company a champion.
There's only a certain amount of guys that can.
At the same time, I also understand that a lot of them aren't believable as a world champion. But then again, you could say the same thing as Daniel Bryan.
When he first came in, but look what happened. Now he's one of the biggest stars.
Exactly. He's one of the smallest guys in the WWE, and yet he's one of the biggest stars. He's also held the World Heavyweight the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. He's held the Heavyweight Championship. He's held the WWE Championship.
He's a 4-time world champion.
Yeah, so he's held all 3 versions of the
only time he's not won currently is the Intercontinental. And that's the only time he has not won. But everything else he's won.
It would be interesting around his waist. At the same time, I would rather see it around Dean Ambrose's waist, because he'd make it so much more interesting.
Well, yeah. And plus, he's a younger talent. And it would prove
that has nothing to do with age. That is simple the fact that he fights harder than anyone else.
But also that proves that they can give Ambrose a chance, and we can see this guy's a world champion, or quite possibly, and that proves that, they don't just care about the Cena's Orings, but it's they care about guys like Wade Barrett and Ambrose and Ziggler. But we're getting off topic, but that's the moral of the story, like we said. Yeah. We're not going to repeat ourselves, but overall, Daniel Bryan's always going to be one of my favorites. He's always going to like Bryan. like I said, there's a lot of ups and there was a lot of downs. But overall, we still like Bryan. But we'll just see where it goes from here. But I see this guy being a world champion again, and I see this guy being in the Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah, both of those definitely, not even a question. I just really hope that the Yes movement starts including other people in their chants instead of just Yes. And like they could do Barrett chants or they could do Ziggler chants. I mean, even the Ziggler chants, which were really at the highest peak I've ever heard them, have starting to dumb down, and there's more Yes chants now, and it's like.
Well, but the Yes chants are actually kind of dying down a little bit. I remember
because
like even the SmackDown, if you notice, like there was people chanting Yes, but there was a lot of people like not really getting involved. Like if you notice, like I remember
because they're fun because a lot of the guys are starting to get tired.
Because Daniel Bryan isn't. He's not like that top guy like he was in 2013 and 14. 2015 is more of Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins' year, and they're trying to focus on those guys. And Daniel Bryan's almost like the John Cena or like a Sheamus, where if they don't have any options, they can look toward that guy and say, we could put this guy in main event, or we could put this guy in the top picture.
I'm just going to throw this. I know a lot of people have their dream matches out there, and I know this has nothing to do with Daniel Bryan, but I want to throw this out there. A personal match I would love to see.
A dream match.
A dream match would be a Hell in a Cell match for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship.
Okay.
The current champion, Roman Reigns.
Wait, current champion? He's not a current champion.
I'm just saying this as a future match.
Oh, okay.
Line it up versus Seth Rollins versus Dean Ambrose. All three members of the Shield at the same time.
Something fresh. Something fresh.
In Hell in a Cell. We all remember what the last one did with Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. Now throw Roman Reigns in there. Oh yeah, let's just throw the monkey, a snake, and a rat at the same time. If the rat bites you, you get typhoid. If the snake bites you, you die in 5 minutes. If the dog bites you, it hurts like hell. You're just gonna throw all three of them in the bag, put your head in it, and shake.
And we'll include some special surprises in there.
I'm like, hey, let's throw Brock Lesnar in there too while we're at it. No. I mean, I'd love to see them work together and just triple powerbomb Brock Lesnar right there. And you're like, oh, Lesnar's winning the title.
But yeah, so
look, they powerbomb Paul Heyman through Brock Lesnar.
But now we're gonna move on. Now we're gonna pick the 5 picks for the next contestants for the Wrestler Talk.
First things first. Rock paper scissors for the last one.
Exactly.
Rock paper scissors.
All right.
He gets to pick 3, so he gets to pick the first one.
Yeah, we can pick 5 total. Actually, I'll let you pick first.
No, you got to pick first because you end up with the 5th one.
Okay, then. That's fine.
It's 1 you, 1 me, 1
and keep in mind, this is like the draft lottery one, so if I get a faction, that won't count. I'll take that one out. And,
why not the faction?
Because I'm only doing singles wrestlers, not factions, not groups. So,
Fan. You faction.
Who's this? I got DDP for the first one.
Okay. So I think we've got that one before.
Yeah, we haven't, never. So,
come on, Sheamus.
We already got Sheamus.
William Regal.
Okay, I can actually talk about that one too. Next one.
Actually, I can too.
Very
DDP,
underrated.
DDP, not so much.
Yeah, DDP, it'll be kind of different.
Except for Ready to Rumble, I don't really have much on it.
I only know Jimmy White name.
Oh, there's one that's going to be popular.
No, not really.
Come on, give me a midget. Just give me a midget. Give me.
Hell no.
Okay, this one I don't know, but JS McStrongarm.
Oh, the independent wrestler, Mitch's face.
And 5th and final is...
I can tell the favorites either going to be DDP or William Regal unless they get like Edge or Orton.
Well, we can't do Edge or Edge.
No, we didn't.
Didn't we?
No, we've never done Edge. He's been picked for like a combatant, but he's never actually been picked for us to do Wrestler Talk.
Okay.
Sheamus we've done, Chris Benoit, Spike Dudley, and Stone Cold AT. And then Daniel Bryan today. Those are the only ones we've done.
Yeah.
So, let's see.
Goldberg! Tech it better not be.
Oh, it's a faction. It's Tyson Kidd, Justin Gabriel, so we pick. I only picked one.
That's what she said.
Yep. So here we go. Hey, okay, I see small singles. Jimmy Uso.
Which one of the Usos is that? Is that
Jimmy Uso? I don't know which one, but it's in.
It's one of the Usos. That's one of the guys with the face paint. No, it's your 5th pick. That's
no, I know. It's just, I think As a singles one, it just it doesn't work.
If we fall back to Rikishi, that's all we'd ever talk about is Rikishi at that point.
You know what? We're going to count this one as the Usos because they're kind of considered one. Because individually, we don't know them as a tag team. They're very well known. Yeah, but this one's an exception. So this one's a tag team. So we're doing both Usos. I know that's a little odd, but you know what? We're doing it. It just makes more sense. So I'll list off the names again. We got DDP. We got Jimmy Wang Yang. We have Jimmy Uso, or the Usos now. We have William Regal. And JS Mix Strong Arm. So I will put this in the voting poll down below. You guys can vote as many times as you want. We'll give you guys a month.
There's only 2 of them that I can talk about. The third one maybe only because of a movie, and the other 2 I don't know who they are. Yeah. Chinese guy in a cowboy hat. Ooh, like Starburst. Contradiction.
I can't believe you just said that.
That was hilarious.
But like I said,
for that one.
So that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We'll get some more topics up there. We'll be doing Jeremiah's video sometime soon because he won the Royal Rumble contest, so he's got to still do his
the next few days, yeah.
Maybe. It just depends where you can pick a time. I guarantee you we'll do it before Mania. We'll definitely do some other topics. We'll even do our prediction video for WrestleMania. And like I said, we're doing a special during WrestleMania video at WrestleMania. We probably won't be able to upload it until the next day, along with the review, which we'll do after WrestleMania. So that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm Preston, and he's...
Asshole as always. Captain Asshole. Let down the hatches, Cemetery. We got to get going.
I gotta ask you a question though.
Yes.
She got the booty?
She's on the poop deck.
And you actually thought it was a poop deck. Where you actually pooped.
Man, we got a mop so much around there. Damn retarded fellow citizens are here. They called it the poop deck and I had to go. Damn singers.
Take care.